Throw a slack, you fucking moron!
Uh-oh, we're back. Welcome, everybody, to Screen Share, a movie podcast about becoming brothers and sisters with the whales.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
You were getting on me about not writing the summaries before. You have not gotten into a single one of these intros with an idea of what you're going to say.
Or with a lick of confidence at
Yeah.
all. I think I've stumbled through all of them. Maybe so. Hey, here's the thing. I'm going to take that note. That's something to work on.
Talcoon.
What?
Me and the Talcoon have joined one.
Talcoon.
I entered the Talcoon, and I saw all of
entered
its
the-
memories.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
appropriate.
if a
Don't try and
big
make it
whale
inappropriate.
opened its mouth, would you swim in?
I think people have been wanting to do that since the times of Jonah
Jonah. Yeah.
or Pinocchio.
Or Pinocchio. Which one
Um,
came first? Nobody knows.
Probably Pinocchio, because it's like real shit that's
Yeah.
happening. Like that little fucker cannot lie
Yeah.
because he is a little boy made of wood. But
And and if you're made of wood, you cannot lie. Them's the rules.
them's the rules.
Anyway, welcome back, everybody, to Screen Share Movie Podcast. We're happy to be back. This is the second entry in our franchise focus on the Avatar franchise by James Cameron. Last week we did Avatar. This week we're doing Avatar: The Way of Water. Sorry, a sound just happened, and every time a sound happens, I gotta look.
Well, you're kind of like Anyway. Yeah, The Way of
That was
Water makes
so
you think. Huh?
Worth piping up. So as we kind of talked about last week, this week we both went into this movie like not having like the highest view of Avatar ever. I don't know where
Into
you
the
were
first
really
one?
at.
Or
like-
this one.
Going into this one, seeing it in theaters.
Oh, I was like, I hadn't watched the first one in a long time, and I was kind of like, we'll see how it is.
Yeah.
Saw some good reviews. Thought it was going to be long and
it was.
boring, and it was long, but not very boring.
Yeah.
Though I wasn't riding as high as I hoped I would be.
Whereas I was riding far higher than I thought I would be.
In THC and emotions. Am I right, brother?
Yeah,
Am I right?
In more ways than one. I mean, this was a situation, just to be fully frank, where got absolutely. I think I saw it. I don't think we saw it together my first time.
Yes, we did.
We
sat
did,
in front of the
okay.
D box. It was in the Kitchener. I don't know what that one.
Oh wait,
technically
maybe
is.
that was the first time just you and me.
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay, then I don't know what. The point is, the
I
first
think you might
time
have felt like it was just you and me because I think we were sitting next to each other,
Okay,
and you were so enraptured in the world of Avatar.
it's true. I think the first time we saw it, the point is, toked up a little bit on the weed product, sat in front of the D-box shaky seats, so we didn't have to deal with our seats shaking, but we did get a little. It kind of just added to like the moments where like
This
when
guy
the
was
big whale
busting
comes
the whole
out.
time. When
And it was also
Payakana
just like.
arrives.
It was also just like visually stunning. The music is incredible, which we'll get into all that. But I essentially left that being like, that was the greatest experience of my life. And then I was like, I need to recreate that. Went to the theaters again, tried to literally replicate the entirety of the first experience. And I was like, it was pretty good.
Maybe
It
it's
was
because
like-
you weren't feeling me beside you.
Maybe. Well, I'm starting to remember now. I think when we saw it together, that was the second time I saw it. Because
I
when
would
did
have a
we see
hard
it together?
time
Where
believing
were we sitting like
Would
orientation
you like
of
me
the
to
theater?
find my receipt? Brother,
No.
I don't know.
You see,
Where
here's the
were
thing.
we sitting?
one of the times I saw it, I was kind of like top back left. Then the other time I was like middle right.
I think we were probably middle right.
Okay, so I think that was the second time I saw it.
So you're
Anyway,
a cheater and a
none of-
liar and a fibber.
No, because this is
I
what
went
I
into that
initially said, and you said I was wrong.
I went into that showing thinking that I was your, not to be inappropriate here, but cherry popper.
Oh, don't do that with your finger ever again. That was like from a horror film. But anyway, the point I'm trying to get to is saw this movie, absolutely ethereal experience the first time, and then the second time I was like, I enjoyed that. But watching it for this podcast was the first time I've seen it just at home, because I was very curious, like, will this translate to home? And like, still looks incredible, still sounds incredible, still a very good film. But we'll get into opinions, but I think I'm lower on this movie than I was just like since seeing it in theaters. But not by much, just a little bit.
I
anyway.
have and related to that point, I have an interesting anecdote about making bread. Made another loaf recently.
Better?
And it turned out like a real loaf, man. It was a
That's
real
good.
loaf. Fluffy in all the right places.
That's good.
Not crunchy.
That's good.
Had
Was the
texture
crust
of
at least a
bread.
little crunchy?
No, it was the perfect kind of crust that I like.
Okay, good.
Because
good.
we're talking plain white loaf. We're talking akin
You're
to Wonder
Oh, yeah.
bread.
Yeah, I guess you're not talking.
I'm not talking baggy.
Yeah.
Baguette for the uninformed. Or stupid. Yeah, so that's really been big. I was wondering, since you are coming
if
over
you
this
don't
weekend,
refer to your baguettes as baggies, you're stupid.
I was wondering, since you are coming over this weekend, if there's a sort of a loaf that you'd like me to make you, or at least attempt to. I was thinking about the jalapeno cheddar cornbread, but I know
I was
you
thinking
don't
maybe
really
like a shit loaf.
Well,
You know
you're
how to
gonna
make
do
that?
that either way.
Well,
We're gonna need to
I
change
guess I'll
out some
make that
pipes
for
either
you.
way.
Yeah.
But I know you don't tend to enjoy things that are related vaguely to vegetables or vegetables. You kind of have the immune system and nutritional health of your body of a 1800s pirate. Like if the
point you're trying to get to,
you
the
and
end.
a Blackbeard in the same room, no one could tell the difference. Is kind of what I'm trying to say.
If they were looking through like an X-ray machine at like
yeah.
If
If we had your vitals next to Blackbeard's,
yeah,
at his
I think
most
the end
scurvy
point you're trying to
infested.
get to is that I have scurvy. I have a
Yeah.
scurvy-ridden body. Yeah, which to be honest has been an ongoing quote-unquote joke, I guess you would call it, since high school.
Well, you
So-
haven't actually been diagnosed with scurvy yet, so there is still time for us to joke about it prior to the diagnosis.
The truth
is coming.
The truth is, in a modern world, scurvy's not really the worry, but
I don't know,
heart
dysentery.
issues and colon cancer are kind of, they've replaced that kind of.
You got COPD. I think that might be from
Cock
smoking.
on penis dick. Is that it?
That's a grown-up thing to say.
Do you have any other points beyond the
You
bread?
know who else might have scurvy? Have you seen this Moore's commercial where the guy's like, "Who invites a husky guy to a summer wedding?" You
No.
don't get that one?
No.
It's basically this guy, and he's, I don't
And
want to
he
be
asks
rude
why
here,
anyone
but
invites a husky guy. Yeah.
He's overweight,
Sure.
slightly more than husky, honestly.
Interesting.
be
That's
rude.
probably subjective, but continue.
Well, I mean, it's not in the BMI, but they don't have a slightly more than husky in BMI, but
fair.
he's calling himself husky, so I can call whoever I want husky, apparently.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's not how that works. I don't
All's
think,
fair
but
in love and Moors.
yours
You said it was
better.
Moors,
No, I said husk, but yours was better.
but it was a Moors commercial.
Yeah, it was Moore's.
We're
basically,
we're cast in a web of jumping between
I'm trying
ideas
my
here.
new segue. I went to a conference this week.
A segue
called
conference.
Seeing the Segue, a podcaster's introduction. And it had all the greats there. Tony Robbins, of course. Tony Hinchcliffe, of course, as well. Ezra Klein. And a holograph of Joe Rogan that he recorded prior to January 6th. Or 5th. Was it the 5th or 6th?
Yeah.
One of them. Either way, he was
Wait,
not...
are you asking which date the insurrection was?
Yeah.
6th, yeah.
Yeah, so it was prior to that when he recorded this hologram. And it was quite interesting because it really shows how to have conversations that flow. See what I did there? I brought you in and everyone listening in. I bet you they're
I think what you really did was slowed me down.
Yeah, but I can see you leaning in. You're like, huh, what's he going to say? What's he going to say? And what I am going to say is...
if I did that on the podcast, I think you would interrupt me and be like, can you get to the fucking point? Like that's what would happen, I think.
Yeah, but the thing is you have to live in the way that you should. And
you
the
have
way
to live in the way of water.
Can you hurry up, please? Anyway,
So
I
that
hate
was
this
a
Morse
segue.
commercial. I hate this Morse
Yeah.
commercial. It's gonna make me die, and it will not make me get YouTube Premium though. I swear it will not be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
I feel like it used to be a thing where like every, I don't know, 10, 12 commercials, there would be one where I'm like, I kind of liked that commercial. Now I feel like it's one in every 200.
And there's so many
I'll be
Canva
like-
merchants out there.
Yeah.
Anytime you see like a still slightly animated graphic thing, you know it's made on Canva. These fucking Canva merchants. Get Canva Pro, hire all your junior employees anyway. You know where they still have a lot of junior employees? Guess?
Where? Oh, do you
The
need me
Dunder-
to say where?
Well, I don't know. I kind of spoiled it already, but try again.
Dunder.
The Dunder Mifflin Paper Company, which is what I've been
Yeah.
rewatching recently.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, I just got into season 3. Jim and Pam. It's not looking good for them. I wonder how that ends. I'm
Just
still hoping that
spoiler
she gets
alert,
back
it
with
goes-
Roy.
Spoiler alert, it goes up and then stays up, and then right at the end, it goes down randomly for a moment and then back up.
I hope she gets back with Roy, though.
It's a hot take. That's what I'll say.
He's a good guy. He just got a DUI and didn't
Only
really treat
good
her
guys
well
get
or like
DUIs.
talk to her or do anything related
Or have
to her.
interest in her like hobbies or life.
Yeah, or like wanted her to like progress as a professional.
He also likes to barge into her workplace and assault her coworkers.
What? When does that happen?
Oh, spoiler alert.
Oh my god. But one thing that's about the show that's scaring me is I'm scared that I'm turning into Michael Scott season 2 when he's still a bit of a nightmare. Well, he's like a nightmare throughout, but you know, like there's
He starts
first season
you become more
first season
sympathetic
he's
to him.
literally like a supervillain.
Yeah.
Second season he's a henchman villain kind of character.
When
where,
he's
like,
got the receding hair, but it's gel combed back,
It's
that's
a
when you're
nightmare.
like, he's a bad guy.
It's bad. Season 3, he gets more likable, and then he kind of progressively gets more likable and more tame.
Yeah.
Very slowly, though.
But also,
So-
I think as he gets more likable, he also gets more cringe, which I think
Yeah.
is part of the appeal.
Yeah, like the Scott's Tots thing.
Yeah. Can I be
Um,
honest? That's like one of the few episodes I don't think I fast forwarded, but I did have to pause every like 3 seconds just to like physically
Yeah.
lock in because I couldn't do it.
Yeah. But the thing about that is if that was season 2, he's probably saying some much more insensitive things in front of the class.
That's true.
Much more racially charged.
Yeah.
So my hope is that I'm staying up far away from that. But
yeah.
Guys, before I was doing a little bit of improv. Do you know what improv is?
Of course.
I was doing a little bit of that, pretending I don't know what happens in The Office.
Yeah.
I have seen The Office all the way through. I've been watching it since I was a little boy. Part of me thinks that's sort of the issue, maybe one of them or one of the many issues within my brain. STEM. So yeah, I was just doing a little bit of a joke back then. But you want to know what's not a joke?
Way back then, about 2 minutes ago. Yeah, what's not a joke? Guns.
Watching Sister Wives too. Guess what they got the dad for Christmas?
Gun.
Not a P90X, but it's I think you probably
like
you didn't play a lot of, you didn't play a lot of Call of Duty, did you?
No.
I'm
only a little bit. I was more of an Uncharted guy.
It's an FNP90. Let me see if I can drop this into the chat here. Give you a
this is good for an audio podcast for me to get to see a gun here.
Come on, get in there, you nasty little Sally.
Ew. The way you immediately cringed after saying that.
I'm talking about the gun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You recognize that one? Yeah. So he's at Christmas, and I see him opening this, like, cardboard box. It's, like, literally a box that you'd have. It's bigger, obviously. But, like, the same kind of box where you get, like, a laptop or something, and you, like, fold it out. Yeah. Like, what they get this fucking guy? Like, a wakeboard or something? Or, like, what is this? And then he just pulls out this gun, and I was like, I've never thought that
that's like a fucking submachine gun.
I've never thought about the idea of buying a gun and it being in a cardboard box. For some reason, I always thought it came in, like, the most high-tech metal suitcase.
At the very least, like, yeah, a case with latches on it.
Yeah. This was just, like, an Amazon box. Like, less safe than an Amazon box. Because at least they got that fucked up tape now.
The tape with the string in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who came up with that, by the way?
I don't know. I'm sure it's some sort of, like, I'm sure there's some reason behind it that's like it keeps packages safer, but it's probably just a cost-cutting thing if we're being real.
Cheaper to have the string tape or something. I don't know, man.
Something like that.
But you know what wasn't cheap? See how these segues are just flowing?
Yeah, you just get every single segue you do is you mention something and then you go, you know what else is that? Or you know what is not that?
You know what wasn't cheap?
What?
The Titanic. I rewatched about half of that this week as well. And boy, James Cameron knocked that little ditty out of the park. Huh?
So two things I want to say on that. First, I feel like, listen, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I love these little blurbs before the podcast starts. I don't know if watching half of a movie over the previous weekend is like if that's the bar, we're gonna be sharing everything.
It's a segue.
No, the segue is the transition into you saying that. The second thing I was going to say is I still haven't seen Titanic before.
I'm segueing. I'm going to put Titanic on the schedule somewhere.
Okay.
It's really good.
I do think it would be cool to do just like a James Cameron, because I want to do The Abyss as well.
Well, we got to do Terminators at some point. We got to do Alien at some point.
Well, then maybe for one of the wild cards, we can just each choose a James Cameron just for shits and gigs.
A solo project James Cameron. Because, like, don't do Terminator. But if we do, like, Abyss and... Well, they did make a Titanic, too. So that's interesting.
Yeah. It's where the Titanic rises from the ocean, and it's Pacific Rim, really, is what it is.
Ghost ship. And you know what else? What other little ditty he knocked out of the park?
What?
Avatar: The Way of Water. Boy,
That's
oh
true.
boy, is this thing a mystical, magical feast on the eyes.
So before we get into the movie itself,
Oh
do you have
my
do
God.
you have notes up?
Yeah, of what?
Just your notes?
Yeah.
Can you not look at them for a moment and just look at me? I want to test something here. Can you name all of Jake Sully and Neytiri's kids?
Kiri,
Okay.
Took,
Yeah.
Loak,
Yeah.
and his name's kind of fucked up, but it's like Netamaya.
Oh, you were so close.
Netayam.
There you go. Wow, I'm impressed.
Because I did write them down
Me
at the
too.
bottom, trying to
Me
like
too.
dissect and figure out which one was which. So I wrote Kiri is Weaver, Sigourney Weaver,
Yeah.
who's just kind of using her own voice. Took is the baby. Loak
Yeah.
is the bad younger son. And Netayam is the good older brother.
Loak is the bad one.
Yeah.
Actually, why don't we just let's this is a bit of a weird place to start, but let's start by
Let's
usually
start
we
at
do
the
the
end.
summary. Let's
Netayam kills himself. He's depressed the whole movie.
Yeah. Actually, do you mind if I do the quick summary? I'm going to try to be really quick with it. I'm going to be so simple and
I'm going to
vague.
put, how about this? I put 30 seconds on the clock. If it's any longer, this podcast.
Then you
is
what?
done.
Then you take over? Okay, here we go. We pick up with a bit of a time jump from the first movie. Jake Sully is giving
How
us
many
a bit
years?
of a, I forget.
15.
Jake Sully's giving us a bit of a rundown on what's happened since. He became much more obviously ingrained in the Na'vi society. Him and Neytiri have kids. They also adopt Sigourney Weaver's Avatar's daughter, and aren't sure how that happened.
Immaculate Conception.
Yeah, immaculate
She's
conception.
Jesus.
But they adopt her. They also kind of like semi-adopt Spider, who is a human, who is the son of Quaritch, who is dead. But now Quaritch is back in an avatar. They like uploaded. I think they uploaded all of Quaritch and his squad's like memories into avatars, because I'm pretty sure like all of them died in the first one.
They took a little memory bank of everyone before basically the final mission.
Yes, and then uploaded them into the avatars. 15 years later, those memories are uploaded into the avatars on the ship that has returned. Anyway, so these ships return from Earth, and they just literally the ship's landing just completely raise like miles and miles of land and wildlife.
Much
Neytiri
bigger
is,
than
like,
they were before.
Yes. And now their mission is not to extract unobtainium. Now their mission is to make Pandora habitable for humans, because Earth is no longer habitable. Anyway, it gets to the point where so that happens. Then we do a time jump, I think just 1 year, where there's kind of been a conflict between the Na'vi and the humans. But it eventually gets to the point where they realize, because Quaritch, also we're just gonna call Avatar clone Quaritch.
I figured.
But Quaritch and his squad basically abduct and have captive like all the Sully children. They all get out except Spider. Spider is brought with Quaritch,
Yeah,
but like
spiders.
we'll get into him. But essentially, that's enough for Jake to convince Neytiri to like pass on their roles and mantles in their community to other people, so that they can leave and essentially not put all of their people in danger. So they go to the sea people. I forget what the actual place was called.
They're the Metkaina.
The Metkaina.
But
But
I
that's
think
like the people.
places-
Metkaina
yeah.
is the people, yeah.
Omatakaya.
Yes. So they go there, and they're essentially like, we seek refuge. Excuse me. We seek refuge here.
Ew,
Hey man, a guy's got a boip sometimes. A guy's got a boip. But so anyway, they're like, we seek refuge. They're kind of like, we don't really want your war here. But they're like, we're done with war. We will like learn your ways. Jake is able to be like, I was human, and then I learned the way of the Na'vi and like am Na'vi. Like I am Toruk Makto. You can't deny that I'm Na'vi. And they're like,
just a time check. You still have 20 more seconds.
Okay. He's essentially that's a long 10 seconds. He's essentially like, I learned my family and I can learn your ways. And kind of like it seems like most of the second act is kind of just the Sully family now ingratiating themselves in the Metkaina culture. And then Quaritch finds
50
them.
minutes in, they go there.
Yeah. In a 3-hour movie, that's the thing. They spend most of the movie there, which is, I think, good. But because for some reason going into the movie, like we knew that they were going to like go to the Sea People area, but I was under the impression that would happen like halfway through, 2/3 through for some reason. Like we were going to spend so much more time.
It would be an end thing.
Yeah, but we spend most of the movie there, which I think is awesome. But anyway, Quaritch eventually finds where they are after torching a bunch of other sea villages, and then there's a big end conflict. I won't get into too many details because we'll talk about the details, but essentially it ends with Jake beating Quaritch in a fight. Quaritch kind of like drowning under this big ship, but then Spider, while looking for the Sully kids, or the Sully parents, finds Quaritch and saves Quaritch.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how he's not dead.
Yeah, because he was under there a long time. Even Jake,
he's put in a headlock.
Yeah.
And
he's doing the like convulsing underwater thing.
Yeah, anyway. Maybe it just takes longer for them to drown because they can at some point. They do say that the Na'vi can breathe human air for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, whereas humans can only breathe air for like 10 seconds.
Yeah, I think Spider says that, and I'm like, shut the fuck up.
We'll get into Spider-Man. Slow down. We'll get there. But essentially, it ends with. As far as I know, I think Jake Sully and the rest of them think Quaritch is dead. I think everyone thinks Quaritch is dead except Spider.
Because he is. They killed him. Like, Jake and Neytiri killed Quaritch. They literally, like, stabbed him in the heart.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, the first one. I'm talking about Clone Quaritch at the end.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Like, I'm pretty sure everyone's under the impression that he drowned under the ship. But Spider, I'm curious for Fire and Ash, like, how that... Because it ends with... Jake literally saying, like, a son for a son, essentially saying Neteyam died, now Spider is, like, our son. But I'm like, but Spider, he's probably not going to mention that he saved Quaritch, and then in the next movie, I feel like Quaritch is going to be like, my son saved me! And Jake's going to be like, or actually, I think Neytiri will probably freak the fuck out, because there's some weird little thing between Neytiri and Spider, which we'll get into.
What do you mean weird?
Well, there's like this weird kind of thing where she doesn't fully accept him the way that everybody else does. But also, like, Spider is very clearly, like, scared of her in a way that he's not scared of other Na'vi. Because, like, when he sees her, like, she kind of going feral at the end. Like, honestly, because of the grief of losing her son. But he kind of just sees this, like, wild animal. And she, like, almost in a way kills him. I'm still torn on whether she would have when she's like, to Quaritch, like, you let go of my daughter or I'll stab your son. I also think she would have. Which a part of me's like, I can't blame her, but the other's like, that's a little bit of a rough look. Anyway, we'll get into it. But my point just to end, because this is technically still recap. I don't know what if I got like 15 seconds left.
Yeah, 15. That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
It's a mental count.
Basically, the Sully family, kind of like, after this, like, huge wave of grief for all of them, they kind of, like, end on this strong note of, like, we're stronger together. They have, like, this little funeral ceremony send-off for Neteyam. Jake Sully is, like, goes to the leader of the Metkaina and is like, we are going to leave because we don't want to endanger your people. And he's essentially like, no, you're one of us now, so you're going to stay here. And it's like, sick. And that's the movie, kind of.
Yeah, man.
It really, something I didn't really remember was it really ends on a note of like Jake Sully multiple times hammering home like, we are sea people now, we are Metcaina now. So it would be a bit of a bummer in Fire and Ash if all of a sudden they were like I assume they're gonna do another like mini time jump and then a little recap.
Apparently it takes place like a week or so after.
Oh, okay. But like, it would be a bit of a bummer if like a quarter into the movie they're like, we have to leave, we're not Metcaina anymore. Like, because the end of this movie hits home that like, no, that is who they are now. And I think
have you seen any of the trailers?
I've avoided them for the most part. I've seen a little bit. Like, I know that there's a new fire lady. I know the one
Ash lady is quite antagonistic to them.
That's
from
also
like a line she says in the trailer, but I don't know if that's like
that's
the driving
that's all I know is thing. That she's because my brain just because like doing the most basic franchise management in my head is like now they go to the fire people and then maybe next they'll go to like the air people like that kind of shit. But yeah, then I saw a very brief glimpse of one of the trailers and she was kind of clearly antagonistic. I wonder if maybe like Quaritch is gonna like employ their help or something. I don't know.
We'll see.
But anyway, that's the summary. Next week. Now let's go back to the kids. I'd kind of like to talk about the kids a little bit to start things off, if that's all right, because they kind of are the catalyst for the movie in the way that Jake Sully was for the first one. We're like, in the first one, we know Jake Sully, we get to know Jake Sully, and then we see him like become a part of this culture and this community.
Become a part of the Ometakaya.
Yes. Whereas in this one, we kind of have that experience through the kids becoming Metcaina.
Yes.
And like we also get a little bit of Jake and Neytiri doing that as well, but
they don't really ingrain themselves in the day-to-day realities of being Metcaina. It doesn't seem like, because at the end the kids are teaching them like how to breathe and like showing them all these things.
Like breath animals underwater and shit. Yeah.
It's Jake and Neytiri are like very out of their element in the water, aside from Neytiri doesn't even ride one of the like sea skimmer things.
No. My guess is that it's because being adults, they kind of have more to provide the tribe, not learning all that stuff. Whereas the kids, it's like, you should start learning this stuff now so that like you are like able to be more of a help. But and like honestly, Jake can like provide like leadership qualities and all that.
Yeah. Shit. And I honestly forgot how much of this movie is just them kind of like, in a good way, showing off the effects, where it's just
it was literally a point where they went underwater and I kind of like maybe 2 minutes into them being underwater clocked into the fact that this is like a fully like photo real underwater CGI like it was so good that it didn't even really click for me how amazing it looked because it just looked perfect.
I watched a couple of VFX artists react, and they had some like watching the Avatar stuff. So one of the big ones was when the first Avatar 2 trailer came out, there was that thing where it's Jake like wrapping onto the shit around
his hand. Yeah.
And I watched that, and the guy who worked on Avatar was there, and he was like, yeah, it's basically like the hand and the strap kind of, and then everything else is CGI. And I was like, what the fuck? How does that even
And it's a thing of like
that?
We talked last episode about how they like to show off by doing like a close-up shot of Neytiri and like water's dripping down her hair as her braids are like flopping over her shoulders. It's like they don't need to do any of that, but they do it, and their like willingness to do it makes it so much better, makes it look so much more real, and just immerses you so much more. They do that like to the
it's
max in this movie.
Yeah. And then
Like-
there's even some little things like the hair in this movie. I noticed like how there's just little strands like that.
Mhm.
Didn't look bad and not something I noticed and was taken out of the movie in the first one, but that wasn't in the first one. Like,
At least not to this extent. Like, I forget her name, but like the main Metkaina daughter, who like kind of has a little bit of a thing with Loak, like her hair is like kind of this like very naturally curly kind of like Moana hair, and when she comes out of the water, like you see every little droplet like going through, and it's like it just looks absolutely ridiculous. It's like I said before, it looks so good that I only really think about how good it looks every like 10 minutes or so, where I'm like, I'm not even processing what I'm looking at. And that's not even to mention the underwater stuff, which is also just ridiculous.
which is stuff that they like had people actually swimming underwater for to get the performances, and then everything else on top of them is computer generated.
Yeah.
But I wrote down like there isn't really a moment in this movie where I don't believe it's real, except for like some vehicle crash physics.
Yeah.
Like at the end, where like I don't know how we still haven't gotten that right, but almost every time there's a CGI car crash, I'm like, that's just wrong. Like,
yeah.
in any movie.
I mean, it's kind of the same with the first one, how I mentioned, like, the only CG that really brought me out was, like, the mech stuff. Because it was just a little janky. It's kind of the same here, where, like, I think it looks a little bit better here. Like, some of the mech stuff looks a bit more natural. But
it does.
I do think that the times where I'm like, that's CGI is, like, when a whale knocks a human into a wall. And I'm like...
Yeah.
That like it still looks good, but I'm like, a body doesn't usually move that way.
But there's not a point where like they're just swimming around, or like there's a dialogue scene where I'm like, oh, this is like shitty looking CGI.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, these are like, I don't know how they got the cameras here, but these are like real people that exist.
Yeah. I think when
it's just
when
it's crazy,
Quaritch
man.
has all of the Sully kids at the beginning, like near where Quaritch had, or where Prime Quaritch had died, Quaritch Prime, where like there's a close up shot of Neytiri like kind of like sneaking through the woods, and it's a close up, and I literally like it's like we said with the last one where we were like looking for imperfections, but I like really scoured, and I was like, not only can I not find any imperfections, like like it looks like I can reach out and like touch her cheeks and like touch her hair. Like it feels like, and I feel like I know what it would feel like.
She feels tangible.
Yeah. Like almost so much more than the first one, which is crazy because that's one of the biggest feats of the first one. But just like absolutely insane. I will say something I noticed, which I didn't really have in the first one, which I don't think this is a negative, it's just something random that I noticed, was usually, because there's a couple shots of like Neytiri singing, which I'm not going to replicate it, but like I just
don't do it.
No,
please.
I really love.
If you don't do it, I'm going to scream. If you don't do it, I'm going to turn my gain all the way up.
All I know is the Ewa.
There. That's all I need.
I only did that so you wouldn't scream.
That's all I need.
Ew. But the thing that I noticed specifically during those scenes was I just looked at like nose, not at the nose, but like below the nose down. So like nose to chin. I just looked at that and I could see Zoe Saldana. Like I could see that was literally her jaw line and mouth, and like it is. So I kind of like, that didn't take me out of it, but it kind of was a moment where I was like, oh, I can see how they did the CG to like around. Like they built
Yeah.
out the face and the eyes, blah blah blah. But like this is mostly the same. The mouth and chin are mostly the same.
Yeah. And I think most of the characters got slight visual tweaks in terms of like their face and body. Like I don't remember, you know how they kind of like light up in this movie?
Yeah.
I don't remember that in the first movie.
There's a little bit of it. It happens way more in this one though.
Yeah. This feels like every time at night they're fully lit up. Which, you know, to each their own. But like there is some slight differences
Yeah.
in how they look, but I think for the better mostly. It's not like the Shrek thing where it's like they made Shrek look like
like a
Gru
fucking-
or something.
Yeah. It's not like they completely changed the designs. They just kind of
Yeah.
cleaned it up a little bit.
And just made it look more real, honestly,
mm.
instead of more cartoony.
I said we were doing this and then we kind of got sidetracked. Can we just touch on each of the kids and just our thoughts
This guy's
on like them and
bringing
their
it back
journey?
to the kids.
Bringing
man.
it back to the kids. Let's start with Neytiri because I feel like there's not much to say about Neytiri. He's just the oldest son.
He's pretty meat and potatoes. He's pretty meat and
Yeah.
potatoes.
He's like, I mean, Loak criticizes him for this, but he's like the perfect son where he's like daddy's little soldier because Jake is kind of like, it's clear that he's like a good father. He's kind of a shit dad because like he kind of just treats his family like a squad, like his military squad.
Yeah.
He literally says like "Fallen Sullys," like they're a squad, which like
He's a
Neytiri
military
criticizes
guy.
him for, and he doesn't really take the criticism. He just like goes, "I thought my kids were gonna die," so Neytiri has to be like, "Oh, okay, well, I understand," but then he just keeps treating them like that.
Hey, maybe that's the
Anyway.
arc that we're going on.
Maybe
Beta
Well,
dad Sully.
We'll get there. But like Neytiri kind of he's just the one always kind of stepping in to clean up Loak's mischievous deeds. And it's not really mischievous deeds. The truth is that Loak, I think, just wants to he wants freedom, I think. He wants to just like be free to be himself and do whatever. Which
and I don't think this
usually-
is like an unrealistic brother relationship.
No.
There
I
are
actually
many
think it's
times where,
quite
like,
good.
Yeah, where like the older brother he just has more responsibility, especially when he's the oldest kid.
Yeah.
So he has more stuff to worry about and is more worried about parents' opinions than the younger one who's kind of like, yeah, man, fuck it. I got like, they got the baby and then they got 2 kids older than me. They don't really care about what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's like middle child and also like middle son. So like it's one of the things I wrote down was like Jake like kind of hates Loak for like a lot of the movie. We're kind of jumping to Loak just to wrap up the Neytiri thing. Actually, there's a point where like some of the C kids, the Metcaina kids, are like making fun of Kiri for being a freak. Then Loak jumps
Which
in
she
and is like,
is.
no comment. Loak kind of jumps in and is like, don't talk to my sister that way, don't treat my sister that way. And then they kind of start making fun of him, and then Neytiri comes in and is like, guys, like, don't treat my sister that way, don't treat my brother that, like, he steps in and they like kind of respect him. They still make fun of them behind their backs a little bit as they're walking away, but like it's clear that Neytiri kind of like has this presence and he's like willing to step in for his siblings. And then Loak hears them be like, I guess they're all freaks, and he turns around and like punches one of the kids and they get into a fight.
Well, he does
And
this little thing with his hand.
yeah, it was like, there's a funny thing about this hand. I can clench it into a little fist, which if someone's standing in front of me, someone I just mocked, and they're like, yeah, something my hand can do is go into a fist, I'm like, he's punching me. Like, that's obviously
Well, he was talking
what
about
he's-
the pinky, man. He's like, you know what the pinky can do? When I
Yeah.
go like this, I can hit you in the face.
Yeah. Which I'm
Did that
saying
help?
that more as a criticism as the Metcaina boys. Like, they kind of like are tasked with helping them and then do and are sometimes friendly and then sometimes leave them to like be eaten by a shark. Like they're kind of all over the place as far as like how they treat them. But anyway, so Neteyam,
which I think that's not even like too.
It's not a big deal.
Important.
They're
like it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't care too much. It's just something I noticed. But anyway, so Loak then gets into this fist fight with them, and you see Neteyam just be like, okay, and then he jumps in and starts punching. Like, it's clear that he is very similar to Jake, not just in his like daddy's little soldier way, but also he's very much like Jake, that he's like, I will like have these kind of rules and principles that I'll stand by, but kind of all that goes out the window if my family is being threatened in some way. So I think, and even at the end, what kills Neteyam is Loak being like, we've got to save Spider, and Neteyam's like, okay, and then gets shot in the process.
Which honestly, like, ugh. Leave Spider. Let Spider die.
Leave him. We'll get to him. But this is actually a good transition to Loak, though, because this
kid's going deep on the kids.
Well, they're like the main characters of the movie.
I know.
Which actually, I see it kind of as a split. Loak and Kiri are the main characters of this movie.
Yeah,
kind of.
I think Kiri gets less plot stuff to do.
Yeah, but I think more important plot stuff.
Yeah, they're setting her up. They're setting her up for these next couple.
Yeah. But anyway, so we'll just start at the end there. So Loak, the whole movie, is kind of being like ridiculed by Neteyam, by Jake Sully, his dad, by his sisters, by like he's just being kind of like criticized by everyone. Except the Metcaina girl, who like
his sisters don't really give him a hard time.
No, I think Kiri's more just like Loak, like holy fuck, chill out. Like,
but the only person who's like very positive on his side is the Metcaina girl.
Yeah, because she I think sees his struggle a little bit and sees how much he wants to like kind of prove himself. Also sees like that he has this strong connection with what was the name of the big bad whale? Payakan? Payakan. And is like, that's,
I'm deep in the lore.
Know, yeah, man.
I'm editing the wiki.
But she's like, I know everybody is saying that it's bad that you connected with that whale. I'm just gonna call him whales.
Well,
Tulkun. But I see the value in that. You're a forest Na'vi, and you came and bonded with like one of the most like revered. It's Tulkun,
akin to Jake Sully becoming the Turok Makto.
Exactly.
In a way.
Yeah, in a way. And
Turok,
like
the final flight.
Payakan coming in at the end and like saving everyone, kind of similar also to Turok Makto coming in. Anyway.
Turok.
But Turok. I think so. Loak is kind of criticized Turok the entire time, and dude, it's really tough. I've got a lot more critiques of Jake Sully in this movie even than I did in the last one, because
can I just say something completely unrelated?
Yeah,
Turok is my Julia Fox. Continue. Iconic in everything he does.
Okay, I believe you. I think that is just what I say when I'm like, there's nothing for me to say in response to that. Is I'll just be like, I believe you. I believe you believe what you're saying. Anyway,
I've been doing a lot of thinking recently, and you know that's never good. And let me tell you, I'm off the Trisha Paytas train. I do not want her to have a role in Avatar 4.
Is she lined up to?
I mean, she's got a role in Euphoria, and you know the Euphoria to Avatar pipeline is strong.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm getting back.
He's getting
So
back,
Loak
everybody.
Jake spends the whole movie basically shitting on Loak. And
He's
then
trying. He's not shitting on him. It's not like he's bullying him. He's just being.
he's trying to like get him
with
to like
his
be
son.
mature. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like, is-
I feel like there's a difference. There are dads who do shit on their sons, and like that's how you get school shooters.
Yeah.
And then there are dads who are disciplined with their sons, but also still do love them at points.
But I think that's the issue. There's not really a lot of love from Jake towards Loak throughout the entire movie. And I think Loak desperately, like, I think he desperately wants his dad's approval. It's why he's always, like, jumping to do the shit that if Neytiri did it, like, Jake would probably be fine with it. But Loak does it, drags Neytiri into it, and then Jake's like, guys, like, come on. And it's really rough when Neytiri dies, and then Jake is going to fight Quaritch and get, like, Kiri and Took back. And Loak's like, I want to come with you. I want to help. And Jake turns to him and says, you've done enough. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, his brother just died. Like, with him. Like, he was with him. He got shot. And he just witnessed his brother die with the blood on, like, literally his blood all over his hands. And, like, I understand that your son also just died. But, like, you can't do a little bit of emotional regulation to not say the exact thing that will make him take all the blame onto himself. And it's literally not until his favorite son is dead and his other son saves him from drowning after he's literally given up that he's able to look at his son and say, I see you. And I'm like, I do really like that scene of him, like, making a point to look at Loak and say, I see you, because I think that's what he needed the whole time, was to know that his dad sees him as he is. But, like, I just feel like Jake, I'm hoping that the, like, end of this movie, Jake is, like, kind of an enlightened Jake Sully a little bit. But, like, throughout the movie, I just feel like he continuously drops the fatherhood ball a little bit. At least in terms of Loak, I think, like, I don't know. I just think that Loak is a child that, like, needed love above all else, and he was parenting Loak the way that he parented Neytiri, which was not really what Loak needed in a way. You know what I mean?
I think the difference between how Jake reacts to Loak and Neytiri is that he sees more of his younger self in Loak, the more, like, reckless, the guy who's going to sign up for the Marines without really thinking about it, lose his legs, and then, like, see the consequences of his actions later on. And he doesn't know how to interact with that or help in that way. Whereas Neytiri is completely the opposite. Neytiri is, like, where Jake probably wishes he was when he was a kid. So I think there's a bit of annoyance with Loak, a little bit of, like, disdain.
Well, the truth is that Loak is, like, a complete dumbass for a lot of the movie. Like, he's constantly doing stupid shit that he shouldn't.
And I think there's a bit of shame to Jake that he has a dumbass son, in a way. Who is, honestly, and, you know, headcanon here, but who Jake was back on Earth.
Yeah.
Before he grew and became, you know, a Navi and Ometakaya.
Which I think is probably part of why, like, because in a way, the ICU thing is, like, their version of, like, I love you, but it's, like, a much deeper version of that. And they didn't explicitly say this, but I kind of got the idea that when Jake says that to Loak at the end, that's kind of, like, the first time Loak's hearing that from his dad, or at least first time since he was, like, a little kid. Because, like,
probably, like, the first time since he's been, like, a mature young man.
Yeah. So I think he really needed that. It's like I said, I'm critical of Jake's fathering methods towards Loak specifically because, like I said, I think Loak needed love and support, but he got a lot of like criticism and punishment, I guess, which like wasn't unwarranted because he's doing all this stupid shit. But I just think, honestly, a part of me's like, where's Neytiri? Like, Neytiri's not really jumping in and like being that to Loak where Jake isn't even. So like Loak doesn't really like, she's usually also like, listen to your dad, and then Jake's like, you fucked up. But like, he's not really getting that love from anywhere, which is why I'm glad that the Metkaina daughter is able to be that. And it also makes sense why he feels so strongly, despite everyone else telling him that this was wrong, why he feels so strongly about his connection with Paya Khan, the Tulkun that he saves his life. Like, he has this deep connection with this Tulkun whale. Like, it makes sense why he would be like, that I value that above all else. Like, even when the leader of the people giving me and my family refuge is telling me this is bad, that's a bad whale. He's a bad whale.
That's what they say.
Like, despite all this, he like doubles, triples, quadruples down, being like, no, I know what I know. He's not bad. But it's because like he's felt this bond, this close personal bond with a being that trusts him and believes him and loves him in a way that he hasn't really felt from almost anyone up to this point, but like at least in a while. Anyway, I find Loak to be like I think the most interesting of the kids. I hope that he has like a pretty significant part in Fire and Ash. We'll see. But let's move on to the next kid, who I think is the second most interesting, which is Kiri. You said, doesn't get a lot of content, but a lot of her content is like very interesting.
It's kind of like table setting, I think, for the bigger role she'll have in Fire and Ash, I'm assuming.
And I'd assume beyond that as well.
Yeah.
Where
if they make them beyond that.
Yeah. It's very clear that she has some sort of like direct connection to Eywa, which like just doing some like connect to the dots here, like she is the daughter of the avatar of Sigourney Weaver's character, who becomes one with Eywa in the first movie, and also the pregnancy is a mystery. It's Immaculate Conception. Like, my logic tells me Eywa impregnated Grace's avatar to, like, in a way, because she wasn't able to keep Grace alive by putting her into the avatar body. Like, maybe that's her way of keeping Grace alive, is by creating Kiri, essentially. But like,
I think there's something like that there.
Something like that. But like, it makes sense why she would have a direct connection to Eywa when her parents hypothetically are someone who is part of Eywa and then Eywa, like herself.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense why she has this direct connection. Still a little bit of a mystery around like why she had a seizure when she connected. I
think it's because she's very sensitive to the way Eywa works. You see her like constantly getting in touch with, you know, the little creatures floating around, giving paths, stuff like that. Like she's constantly interacting with the nature, and the nature like interacts back with her in a much more substantial way than it does with almost anyone else. Yeah. So I think it's because it's kind of more of an overload.
She's like got a direct line, whereas everybody else kind of has some filter between them and Eywa. She's like got a direct line, and it's almost just overwhelming for her. I see what you. That makes a lot of sense. But anyway, there's not really.
It's like when you go straight butt, not even on the toilet seat, but on the rim of the toilet. You flip the seat up, and you're just right on the porcelain.
How often are you doing that?
When I need to feel it, man.
And how often do you need to feel it?
Birthdays and holidays usually.
Okay, so special occasions.
Yeah.
Weddings.
Usually other people's No, not weddings, because those are dirty. But usually other people's birthdays, I'll go to their house, give them a little present of cheeks to pores. That's
how are they getting a present?
I say,
are you
I'm
leaving
doing cheeks to?
Are you leaving remnants behind?
No, but I go and I say I'm doing cheeks to pores, and they go, "Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you," and I say, "You're welcome."
Thank you. Yeah.
And then I come out and they do 12 Hail Marys, and then we get back to the party, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what's so confusing about that, really.
Nothing confusing, just a lot wrong, I think.
What do you think about Sigourney Weaver's voice matching with the teenage Avatar? I think there was a bit of a disconnect for me. I was a little bit like, that is a 60-year-old woman's voice, pretty much.
Is Sigourney Weaver voicing Kiri?
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't know that. But
Really?
I didn't know that. I might have known that previously, but I had forgotten that. But that makes sense because she does. I think it works because she's kind of a little bit of an angsty teen. So it kind of works in a way, but yeah. Okay. That kind of makes some more sense.
Speaking of castings and stuff,
yeah.
One that I think is I guess probably set up for the next couple movies, but Kate Winslet is the Metcaina mom that's pregnant.
Oh, oh, yeah. I feel like I saw it when I was looking for images to do our thumbnails for. Just on Google Images, I saw that character and then Kate Winslet beside it, and I was like, that makes so much sense. I didn't realize that, but she's dude, every character in this movie is excellently portrayed to me. There's not really an acting performance that I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, I think maybe some of the Metcaina boys could be a little better.
Sure, but
it's such a minor thing. But I
just before we move on briefly, just so we cover all the kids, then there's Took, who's just youngest daughter. She kind of just is helpless a lot of the time. The only Took moment that I really remember is when she's tied up and then gets saved and then goes back to save Kiri and then gets tied up, and she's like, I can't believe I'm tied up again. I think that's kind of funny, but that's really
that's kind of her moment.
Yeah. Although I was thinking, because she's the youngest, I wonder if there'll be a thing in the next movie or the next couple movies where she is this is less of a theory, more of just an idea I have that I think would be interesting, is that Took is this kind of best of both worlds Na'vi, where she grew up in quotes as a forest Na'vi, but then from a very young age started to learn all of this Metcaina stuff. So she's so well versed in that she kind of is kind of this, I don't know what you'd call it, but this hybrid where she has multiple. I just think that's an interesting,
kind of like an airbender who can use multiple.
Well, airbenders can't use multiple. She's just the Avatar.
Yeah, maybe she's the Avatar in Avatar.
Yeah, maybe. But anyway, not much else to say about Took. But do you want to get back to casting? Is that what you were talking about?
Just the Kate Winslet character really doesn't do too much in this movie.
No.
Which is surprising when you're casting Kate Winslet, but also I think she's good friends with James Cameron, and it probably pays enough. And
yeah.
I
she
really learned how to hold her breath. So
I really like both of the Metcaina, the Kate Winslet character, and then also
I forget the name for the other actor. Cliff Curtis is the dad. Tonowari. And then Kate Winslet is Ronald.
I like. First of all, I just love their designs. They're perfectly similar yet different to the forest.
Yeah, I think
Na'vi.
One thing I'd like to touch on is just how much this made me excited for seeing the different environmental and cultural and like different evolutions of the Na'vi across Pandora.
Yeah.
Because like there are major differences between the Metkayina and the Ometakaya people.
Yeah.
They have much wider forearms, much larger tails, and they're like in general a bit like shorter, slightly stockier, like stocky for an avatar, which is not very stocky at all. It's not like the guy in the Morse commercial who's as husky as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. The Metkayina could not shop at Moores.
No. I can barely shop at Moores.
Okay.
And I'm the closest thing to a Na'vi that you're going to get, aside from Wembenyama.
But
he's got weak bones.
What was I going to say?
Something about Wembenyama?
Victor Wembanyama. Dude, I watched the, just a brief tangent, I watched the NBA Cup finals between New York and San Antonio.
You see Josh Hart give him the thumb in the bum?
I did. Like, do whatever you want with your friends. Shocking that he did it front and center stage on national television.
As he was grabbing the trophy.
Yeah. Just tainted that, pun intended, tainted that moment for him.
That's crazy.
But I just really, really like the Metkayina design.
Wait, you were going to say something about the NBA Cup.
Oh, I just watched it and it was great. I was a bit bummed, but
Wemby
I
was
mostly
in it?
tuned in for Wemby. But apparently his grandma had literally died like that morning, and he was not, like, it's crazy that he still played the game, but
truly not ideal.
Yeah, but it was a good game though. It was close basically the whole way, but the New York Knicks got it. But what I was gonna say was, oh yeah, literally when they first get on the beach, the Metkayina boys are like making fun of their tails, being like, "You call this a tail?" And I'm like, I don't know, dude. It's like they've still got tails on them. They still like it's still a long ass tail.
It's not like they're like a little short snub nose like some of those dogs have.
Yeah, but they're making fun of it because the Metkayina have like these huge fin tails that help them swim. Yeah. But anyway, I just really.
When we mixed Loak and the Metkayina daughter together, I wonder what kind of creature is going to come out of that, man.
Probably
I wonder how much crossbreeding happens in Pandora.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's a topic in the next movie. Well, actually, no, because if it's only like a week later, they're not going to be talking about that. They're all like 14 years old.
Maybe in Avatar 4, because I think there's another like 9 or 10 year time jump after Fire and Ash. But that is,
I hope by the end of the Avatar franchise, I hope that like Jake Sully and Neytiri are like old elders and like all. Anyway,
that'd be kind of cool.
But I was just going to say that would also be interesting because Kiri and Spider. Also, there's something there. So, like,
I want Spider dead. Can we talk about Spider?
Actually, yeah, because we talked about all the kids. Let's talk about Spider. I want to like Spider as a character because I think the idea is interesting. He's just kind of like, I see him as like a little toddler nuisance.
So let's give some context.
Yeah.
Spider is left on Pandora because kids can't cryo sleep, which I guess is an issue, but also like, I don't know. That doesn't seem like much of it. You just keep him awake on the ship until he can cryo sleep. Right?
Yeah, but
like people have to be manning the ship.
I think the trip is so long that you have to cryo sleep. I don't think there's like a wake. Like I don't think that there's like staff. I think the ship is just on fucking autopilot.
Anyway, so he can't go back to Earth.
Yeah.
Because of the cryosleep issue. So he stays on Pandora, gets quite ingrained within the Sullys. Neytiri doesn't really take to him because he is of demon blood.
Which I was a bit surprised by. Like, I get that she hates the humans because of everything they've done.
I
but
mean,
like,
I think
your
they know
husband
he's
is
Quaritch's
also
son.
Yeah.
So I think that's more the issue.
Oh, because she refers to him as the demon as well. Yeah.
Yes.
I see.
I see. Another Zoe Saldana.
I see. Which actually, just gonna make this. No, I'll get to that later.
Okay.
Yep.
And I think in the lore of the movie, he's maybe 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time I'm looking at this movie and I'm like, this kid is an idiot. Like, if you're in these situations, you know what he wants. Like, he's telling you exactly what he wants. You need to figure out a way not to give it to him, and he kind of gives him what he wants every single time.
Well, the truth is, I think he begins to, like, I don't know how to properly say this, like, grammatically, but, like, he begins to endear to Quaritch, where, like, I mean, the truth is
he starts like developing a relationship with Quaritch.
Yes, because, and the truth is, which this kind of goes to my point that I mentioned last episode of, there's kind of some theories around Quaritch having somewhat of a redemptive arc. Mm-hmm. But, like, there's a moment when they do the fucking, like mind wipe fucking torture
was
shit on him.
Honestly funny when they cut to that.
That's the thing. It's little horrifying that they're just doing this to a kid, but I could not help but chuckle a little bit, and I do remember specifically our mutual friend Matt laughing in the theater when that happened, because it's just so ridiculous. I think he also just really hates Spider. But after that, Quaritch is like, let me try just talking to him. And he goes in and gives Spider Quaritch's, like, dog tags, and Spider throws him across the room, and Quaritch is like, I'm not that man. And I feel like that line kind of, like, supports this theory that he could have a redemptive arc, because, like, he's not Quaritch. He has the memories of Quaritch, but, like, this version of him has only ever lived as a Na'vi. So, like, I feel like there is potential for some sort of turn where he's like, I'm not really on this mission for me. I'm on this mission for some guy who's dead, who, like, whose memories I have, but, like, that's not me. And I think that also kind of comes around when he's like, I don't give a shit about this kid, when Neytiri's got her knife to Spider's throat and is going to stab him. He's like, I don't give a shit about this kid. He's not mine. And then she goes to do it, and he's like, wait. And he doesn't even look like he's like he looks shocked that he even did that. Like, I think that he also is having a bit of, like, in this version of Quaritch's life, all he's really done is follow orders to kill Jake Sully and build a relationship with this kid. So, like, I could see a world where he realizes his priority is actually Spider. All this to round back to, but Spider kind of sucks.
Well, I put it as, like, Spider and the Avatar version of Quaritch both have daddy issues with the same guy.
Yeah.
Which is Prime Quaritch. Mm-hmm. But also, technically, one of the guys is also the other guy's dad. So it's like a weird relationship. And vice versa, Spider is his son. So there is, like, a weird kind of, like, almost primal relationship that they have, even though it's technically not to each other.
Like, they both don't really want this relationship, but they both kind of want this relationship, like, subconsciously. They both want
their father
they want a
or
relationship.
Son. Yeah. But the guy who made all of the mistakes that put each of them where they are can't answer for what he's done or, like, provide any closure or anything. So they're kind of the best options that the other person has. Yeah. Because honestly, Spider's never really going to be accepted as a Na'vi.
No.
Because, like, unless he goes into an Avatar body, like, he can't live as a Na'vi.
He doesn't have the hair connection. He doesn't have, like, the agility. He doesn't, like, he always has to wear the like, he just can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a thing where he, like, you know, I was going to do a little prediction segment at the end for Fire and Ash, but we've kind of been sprinkling them throughout.
Sure.
Maybe there's a thing where Quaritch offers Spider to be put in an avatar or something like that. Like maybe there's something like that builds the favor of Spider and also like shows that Quaritch is a bit of a better guy than he thinks. Or, you know, maybe there's could be something there.
I thought you were going to, because that's interesting, and I could see that happening. I thought you were going to say just that Quaritch kind of offers him this acceptance that he will never have with the Na'vi. Where, like,
yeah, I mean,
Quaritch is like, I'm in a way your dad, not really, but, like, I'm someone who cares about you to some extent. And... But even that doesn't really work because Quaritch is also a Na'vi. So, like...
But I think
he's an avatar. But
I think he is more human than Na'vi, even. Yeah. Like, he doesn't really speak Na'vi. He doesn't make any of the same, like, battle cries or, like, he doesn't do any hissing or anything like that. Where even Spider, like, hisses at Quaritch at the end. That's not something that Quaritch would ever do.
No.
So Quaritch, honestly, is probably more human than Na'vi and probably always will be. Whereas Spider is trying to be more Na'vi than human, but he can never really be more Na'vi than he is right now. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like, I think that... I mean, the truth is just that Spider's put in this, like, impossible position of, like...
Yeah.
The only way that he would have been fine is if he had endeared himself more to, like, the human scientists at the fucking base than he did the... But, like, he's a kid. Of course he's going to be interested in the blue cat people more than the human beings. So, like, anyway, he's just kind of in a weird position. All this being said, he's kind of just, like you said, he kind of just gives Quaritch everything that he needs. And he never wants to. Like, even when Quaritch is, like, at one of the other villages and is, like, threatening to kill them, kills one of the animals, torches their buildings, like, Spider is, like, begging him not to and apologizing to the avatars, like, to the Na'vi there. And they're like, please tell him to stop. And he's like, I'm sorry, I'm trying. Like, I don't think he likes Quaritch. Even in the end, after he saves him, like you said, he hisses at him and then jumps in the water. I don't think he likes Quaritch still, but I think he just has this weird connection and desire. Because at the beginning, when they're, like, talking about how Kiri doesn't know who her father is because there's this immaculate conception, and Spider is like, guys, it's not always great to know who your dad is. So it's clear that he wants, like, he desires some level of, like, normal father relation. Like, he yearns for that relationship. Quaritch is not going to provide that, at least not in this current state. But there's still, I think, this thing in the back of his head where he's like, this is still the closest thing that I have to a dad. Which also, just to tie back to how I said there's kind of this weird dynamic between Spider and Neytiri. Like you said, she sees him as having demon blood because he's Quaritch's kid. But also, Spider sees the video of Neytiri killing Quaritch, which kind of, like, even though he doesn't like Quaritch, is kind of like, she killed my dad. And then at the end, sees her kind of go, like, feral and almost kill him. Like, there's this... I think he's, like, genuinely kind of terrified of Neytiri, which is fair. She's a little scary.
I mean, she's a 9-foot tall assassin.
Yeah.
And he's 5'10" on a good day, maybe.
Yeah, a 9-foot tall assassin with, if I'm allowed to say it, not great emotional regulation. Yeah. Which, like, obviously, I do think that she goes through so much grief in the last movie, but especially this movie. Like, her home being, like, burnt to a crisp at the beginning, time jump, like, her having to leave her people, then, like, in the first movie also losing her, like,
her her dad,
lifetime bond with the flying thing and her dad. The bow that her dad gives her breaks. Her son dies. Like of course she's spiraling. But like that kind of just adds to Spider being scared because like that is not someone who will stop herself from doing something, which she almost doesn't.
Which also, like, if I'm her and I've got this kid that I can't really trust, and the guy who this kid's might be on the side of is like trying to literally hunt and kill my entire family.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time
liking that guy
being logical.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to like bring it back to that connection. But anyway, just any other thoughts on Spider?
I think it's just like I think I see him as older than he is in the movie because I don't know if they like fully say it. It is a tough spot for a 15-year-old or you know around there 16 maybe to be put in.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know. Kids got to be a little smarter.
Yeah.
Like him sitting back and being like, "Oh, Jake is gonna beat you when you find him," instead of like trying to prevent that from happening.
Yeah.
Is rough. One thing that I wanted to talk about that stuck out to me both times I've seen it as a kind of like quagmire as to why it's in there. And I like logically understand why it's in there, but is the thing with the Tulkun where they get the oil from the gland that stops human aging. Part of me, both times I've watched it, has been kind of like, how much should I care about this? Because they spend a fair amount of time on the whole explaining how they hunt the Tulkun, when it doesn't end up being that relevant, that important.
Yeah.
Maybe in the next movie it will be.
It did kind of feel to me like they were like, unobtainium is in the past. Now there's this shit. Because he literally does the like same thing that the other guy did to Sigourney Weaver in the first movie to Jermaine Clement's character in this one, where he's like, this is the stuff that's paying for your research, Doc. And he's like, that's why I drink.
But he's much less... Jermaine Clement's much less likable than Sigourney Weaver is in this movie. He's much more of a wet blanket in this movie.
Yeah. Like, it's clear that he doesn't really want to be doing this and cares about the animals and shit. But, like, I will also say, fucking hated the boat captain ass.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking hated that guy.
Man.
Not
Bad
only
guy.
a horrible guy, I just hated... I didn't hate how the actor portrayed it. I hated how the character acted. Like, dude, you've probably got a fucking intercom on the ship. Get on the intercom and be like, you guys, you got 2 minutes before you drop down. Instead, he's like walking through the whole thing, slapping railings and going pew pew, like doing all these fucking
slapped
stupid
a little ass
gestures
on there too, man.
He's just like it. I don't know. It's
like the perfect portrayal of that kind of a guy, but it's so grating.
I just hate it,
and
man.
So annoying.
It's so greasy, fucking like it. Just like I think maybe least favorite character in the movie. Just the way that he's walking around the ship, being like, and then he goes, "Let's make some bank," and he's like saying all these fucking one-liners.
But you're supposed to hate him, right?
Yeah, I know. It's just like there's hating, and then there's like you made one, but then he gets his fucking arm chopped off. So I'm like, I feel okay about it.
But yeah, I'm still kind of like, if
the
we're gonna
the brain serum.
Yeah, if we're gonna try and make this thing under 3 hours, I know where we're taking most of it from. And it's the part where
they do a whole like 10-minute sequence of them hunting the whales to show how they hunt the whales, only to then later have them hunting the whales. Like, it feels like it could have been chopped down. I get that it was them hunting the mom whale specifically.
Yeah.
To kind of set up Kate Winslet's character, like
Yeah. But even
grieving.
then, like, that's something you can do a little faster.
Yeah.
And maybe the serum comes into play in this next one. But for this movie, I was kind of like, okay, guys. This being my second time seeing it, I was like, I know it doesn't really pay off it to anything too important. So I was kind of like, let's just speed it up a little here.
To me, the only real, like, thing that I got from that scene was Jermaine Clement's character, like, telling Spider, like, how much more intelligent these characters are, how they, like, they create music, they know, like, advanced mathematics, they, like, all this shit, like, kind of talking about, it's kind of the stuff that both of these movies do, which is just kind of talking up the intelligence and the kind of communal evolution that all the living beings have together, like this ecosystem that's like feeding off each other. How I think really just hammering home how in the wrong the humans are for doing all the shit that they're doing, which, like, I wonder if they do that because they're like, if we have humans on one side and then aliens on the other side, we need to make it abundantly clear that the humans are not to be rooted for. But, like, I think we got there. I think
that's a common thing in a lot of movies where either, like, the enemy is completely faceless, so there's no one to even potentially sympathize with, like the Top Gun Maverick approach, or they're comically evil, like pick any 2000s movie where there was a terrorist or something.
Yeah.
It's like they're so over the top evil, in, you know, occasionally an offensive way, that there's no way that you're going to be like, actually, yeah, the guy who wants to blow up the entirety of the United States has a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing that I was like, that kind of feels like that's what the scene was for. But other than that, I don't know. That's kind of to what you were saying, like at the top of the pod, is this movie. I think that this movie, especially now seeing it for a third time and seeing it at home, I think it feels longer than the first movie felt long. But I think that it does a lot more, and it's not bad or slow during that time. It just, I think there were more points during this movie where I was like, this is a long movie, than I did with the first movie. And I think that's just because, are you checking the difference in runtime?
No, it's about like 15 or 25 minutes between 1 and 2, and then Fire and Ash is about the same as
Way of Water.
This one.
Okay. So like I said, I don't think that it's slow. I don't think it really like misuses much time, but it does feel long at points, just when like I think the third act takes a while. Especially like with the kind of revolving chairs or revolving door of like kids getting tied up and then freed and then tied up again.
Yeah. And that ending also does feel very ship sinking Titanic, which I know you haven't seen. But even when we were watching the first time, I was like, he's kind of pulling some shit from Titanic here, where it's like you've sectioned off people into different parts of the ship, and now they're all trying to get out in their own way. And it's very good. The only reason I brought up the whole like serum thing is because that's the only thing where I was kind of like, this feels out of place. At least with the unobtainium in the first one, it is like essential that this is exactly what all of the antagonists in this movie are motivated by.
Yeah, like Quaritch isn't after the serum. He's after Jake. So we don't really need to know about the serum.
And we don't really learn about the serum until 2 hours and 30 minutes in, 15 minutes in. Like, it's pretty late. It's not like Jake at the beginning is like, and now they've figured out how to tap all the unobtainium, and now they're looking for the Tulkun serum. Like,
yeah, it could also be a thing if they just needed to have a reason that these Tulkun are being hunted.
But it could be so much simpler as to be like, we're trying to build some shit in the water, and these are an invasive species that we're just trying
or
to
like their skin is like impenetrable, so
yeah, like
shit like that.
There's so many easier things. A bit about this that I didn't really pick up on in the first one is I always thought of Avatar as like a planet when it actually is a moon, which is why when they're talking about like it's the always eclipse. So much prettier at the eclipse, they don't really play with anything like that in the first one. No. But I liked how it was a little more specific, because then it does in even the first broaden the world up even more.
During the space scenes, and I think some scenes where you just see the sky, you can see the other planet, which is like fucking 500 times bigger than than Pandora. It did make me wonder in this movie, because like you said, they touch on it a lot more. There's the eclipse behind the planet, which is so cool. And then also they just have a lot of shots of the planet. It did make me think a lot more. I wonder if at some point, I couldn't really tell. It looked like the big planet is like a gas giant, but I do wonder if that's going to come into play in one of the other movies. Like, is the entirety of the Avatar franchise going to take place on Pandora, or is it going to, are we at some point going to leave? Okay.
I know there was some talks about them going back to Earth, which, no thank you. Honestly, I would much rather this franchise is just like talking about all the different people in the Earth. Like James Cameron has talked about how there's...
Sorry, you go. My bad.
James Cameron has talked about how there's like different environments. There's like boreal forests. There's Arctic environments. There's mountains. Like not the floating mountains, but like other mountainous regions. I would much rather just investigate that than kind of keep expanding and expanding out.
I was going to say, if they were to leave Pandora at all, I would only really want them to like it to be to go to the big planet that they are revolving around and have that tie in somehow. But I do agree that I think this is a criticism I have of Star Wars, where like you think of Tatooine as a planet, you think of like 2 towns that are like close to each other, and that's the planet. And anytime someone goes to Tatooine, they land there. And it's like the same with Coruscant. It's the same with like every planet. You kind of land on it, and you happen to be in this same little small area, and it's like it's a whole ass fucking planet, dude.
Yeah, like, it's like every planet in Star Wars is actually just a city.
Yeah, because like
it's one town or city.
You think of Coruscant, and like anytime you're there, there's like the Jedi Temple, there's the big Senate building, and maybe like a couple other spots. But like anytime anyone goes to Coruscant, that's where they are. And they have expanded Coruscant by going deeper. Like there's deep levels of the planet, which I think is cool. Like that's definitely a cool aspect of that planet. But like, what's on the other side of the planet? Is it like still a huge city planet, but that's more like burrows and like I don't know. Like I feel like there's so much more interesting things to do. That's just a criticism of Star Wars, is that like you have so many planets to go to, but anytime you go to them, it's the same spot. I feel like it would be cool for this franchise to be like, it is Pandora and exclusively Pandora, but like we cover all of Pandora.
I would much rather that.
Yeah.
Because once you start going to other places, it gets to be too much. And there's already so much in all of the different names, all of the different species, all how they interact. Like there's so much lore in all of that. Where it's just like, we don't really need to go to another planet and then see a bunch of different animals and try and figure out a bunch of different stuff. And I don't know. It's just... and then that different planet has all the exact same environments as Pandora. Yeah. Like we have all of these environments already, technically. So let's just go to them here.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think, I don't know how you're feeling, but I'm feeling like we're inching towards the wrap up
Yeah, I'd say
So I will say I was not expecting myself to become as big of a fan of the Avatar movies and as
too.
excited for Fire and Ash as I have become in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, same. I was afraid that watching 2 separate 3-hour Avatar movies would make me like, oh man, I have to go to the theater and watch another 3-hour Avatar movie. But
I'm
hyped up. Can I be honest? First time ever in my life today I had the thought where I was like, man, should I buy that like Frontiers of Pandora game? Because there's that Avatar game that's like an open world Avatar game that was apparently really good, just like it didn't do crazy well. And I always see it on sale, and now I'm like, dude, I think I'm kind of becoming Avatar pilled. I think I need to get this game. Anyway.
Hey, yeah, tell me how it is and I won't buy it.
Cool. I got too much of a backlog to be buying new games.
That's fair. Me too.
But yeah, I'm very hyped for it. I've been trying to avoid, like I said, I've been avoiding trailers. I've also been trying to avoid reviews for the most part. I did see like a little review aggregate post on like the movies subreddit very briefly. Mm-hmm. And I won't say what it said, but
yeah, I'm trying to go in as blank as possible.
Me too.
But I think this movie really leveled up some of the Avatar stuff. I think some unsung heroes of this movie are just like the fight choreography feels a lot better. There's a lot of the visuals are just even more stunning. And a lot of the performances feel even more grounded than they did before.
Well, that's why
I think it's just because they're pushing it like harder than any movie ever has.
That's why I'm kind of curious and a little worried about Fire and Ash, because I'm like, Way of Water was such a step up from Avatar, which was already so impressive. Like how, like not that it needs to do another step up. If it's just as like good as Way of Water, then that'll be a success in my eyes. But like, I am curious where they really go from here, as far as, because especially if they're staying Metcaina and staying with the Sea Na'vi, like, will it just be Way of Water 2.0 with a couple scenes with some fire in it? Like, that's the worry in my mind, but we'll see. I have trust that James Cameron. I did see the article that you mentioned where he was like, if Fire and Ash isn't like mega successful, I'll probably just get someone else to direct the next couple, and I'll
or just like write a book to tie up the one loose end, which is,
dude, just be an executive producer and get like a decent director to do the last two.
And like, okay, so let's do a little movie math here quickly. Way of Water cost $350 with marketing estimated to have a total cost of around 800 or break even, of 800 million worldwide. Fire and Ash cost 400. Bit of inflation in there. Probably needs to make about the same. 800, probably closer to 900 to $1 billion to break even, and then anything above that is needed. But
which I think Fire and Ash makes $1 billion, but I don't know how much above that it goes, because we mentioned last
think
week,
it probably needs
down
one
a little bit.
I think it needs 1.5 to really be worth it for Disney, but they've already kind of started shooting 4. I think they're like 30-40% of the way through shooting 4, which for these movies obviously is like
to doing this franchise that's this fucking high scale, high budget shit. Just see it through, man.
Yeah, but you could have said that about John Carter.
Unless, well, but the first movie bombed. That's the difference.
That's true.
The thing is, if Fire and Ash makes like $750 million, I would totally understand them being like, we got to move on to other stuff.
Yeah. If it makes like 1.2, I'm kind of like, let's just keep the train rolling. I don't think Doomsday's going to do as well as this.
Dude, okay, let's briefly touch on this. Spoiler alerts for Doomsday if you care. I found out that a teaser trailer was leaked that shows that Steve Rogers is going to be in it.
Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing the trailer before Avatar.
Okay. But it's a thing of like...
But yeah.
You made such a big deal about ending the stories of Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, and you're just bringing back Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans. What is...
Yeah, and apparently Steve Rogers is going to be like a main character.
Yeah. I just don't... Like, can I be honest? Not only am I like not that interested in seeing it in theaters, I think I like actively don't want to see it in theaters. Like, I don't want to add my like $15 to whatever just to like. Anyway, whatever.
I think the real protest would be not going to see Spider-Man.
Is that coming out first?
Because that comes out before, but they're doing this thing where they release the Doomsday trailer before, which is stupid.
Because here's the thing, I want to see Spider-Man, but I just don't care to see fucking Dooms. It's just a clusterfuck.
Yeah, I think Doomsday is probably going to be a nightmare, because the original X-Men are going to be in it. Yeah.
Well, that's my thing, is like, you already have this... Okay. So they already... we'll do a mini rant and then we'll end the episode. But like... You spent all these years setting up these new characters to be this new wave of the MCU, and then finally you're doing a like group up movie. Finally we're going to see all these characters converge in one movie. But you don't have faith in that. So you bring back all of the X-Men and all these legacy characters to have cameos and little bits, and it's like, okay, I get you're doing multiverse shit, you're trying to get butts in seats, whatever, I'm sure you can make that work. But then also you're bringing back Robert Downey Jr., and then also you're bringing back Chris Evans as Captain America. Yeah. And it's like, it's like, it feels like so many layers of not having faith in the project that I'm like, how am I supposed to have faith in the project then?
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, it's bad. And it's likely going to be bad. I don't see a way where this movie turns out well.
No.
That is Avengers Doomsday. But
yeah. Fire and Ash, I could absolutely...
I'm going to get the popcorn bucket.
Well, dude, I remember walking out of... I think I mentioned this last episode. I might have not. You're going to get the popcorn bucket. I walked out of Way of Water, and I remember saying, I think to you, being like, dude, I think the days of Star Wars and Marvel being like the franchises is over for me. Now it's Avatar and Dune, because they're just like... leveled up versions where they're like actually so good, have like really talented directors behind them, like so, like I'm not saying that Star Wars and Marvel don't have any talented people working on them, but like there's so much love and care being put into every single aspect of Avatar and Dune that I'm like, these are the new like franchises for me. It kind of helps that like Marvel started to tank and Star Wars hasn't released a fucking thing in...
Well, Grogu. Get ready for Grogu.
That's true. That is happening. The greatest movie title of all time, The Mandalorian and Grogu.
I kind of like the poster.
I like the poster as well. I do like the poster.
But everything else is something I don't care for.
I'm just worried that it's just going to be a movie that looks like a Disney Plus show. But we'll see.
I have one thing before we go.
Okay.
And I like to call this the Kate Winslet Hold Your Breath Challenge. Do you remember this? No. There was reporting when this movie was coming out that Kate Winslet broke Tom Cruise's record for, I guess, movie star who held their breath the longest underwater. And her record was 7 minutes and 15 seconds. I would like you
to try and do that right now.
Yes. Me, your greatest attempt at doing that.
Are you gonna commentary over it so it's not just silence, or should
Yeah,
we
I'll
do it at
talk,
the
I'll
same
talk.
time so it's just silent? Okay.
No, I'll talk. And you have 25 seconds to get ready, and then I'm going to tell you go, and you can't breathe, okay?
And I'm
I'll
gonna be
count you down
honest.
from
I'm not
10.
gonna like do some tricky shit.
I'll count you down from 10, okay?
Why am I getting nervous?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So his time started at an hour and 45 minutes into my recording of the podcast. It'll be slightly different for you. So we're seeing how long he can go. I think Adam can probably get to a minute. I have faith in him. I think his new and improved sleekness, which if you're watching the video, you'll know what I mean by that, will enhance his athletic abilities in many ways. I think his performance in... Don't cover the camera. I need to see you. He got a garlic loaf from somewhere. We're 45 seconds into this. He's doing pretty well, it looks like. I don't see any breathing from the nose. Any sneaky breathing from the nose. And I don't see him using his eyes or ears as air holes here. And he has made it a minute, which is surprising.
Can I be honest? I'm gonna tap out now. I think I could have gone longer, but like my stomach started to gurgle like crazy, and it was making me have to swallow over and over.
That's what she said.
Swallowing doesn't count as a little cheat. A little like that didn't give me more air. Okay.
No,
I think I could have gone longer. It was starting to get to the point where like, if I'd gone much longer, I would have gotten lightheaded. But I at least wanted to make the minute that.
You did well.
The thing is, 7 minutes, no shot, brother.
Yeah. You did about a minute and 13 seconds.
Okay. I feel like I could probably max out at 2 minutes if I really wanted to try.
Yeah. And there are some allegations. That she used pure oxygen to get more oxygen in her system before doing the breath hold, which is kind of like...
Where did those allegations come from? Tom Cruise?
There's allegations from my camp. My camp, the sources I will not reveal, but their names do start with T and C. TC. His initials is what those are called, are TC. Terry Crews, I don't think he could hold his breath for all that long.
No, probably not. One last thing that I did want to touch on. This is something that I said I'd talk about later and then forgot about until now. You mentioned Amelia Perez and how that was a Zoe Saldana performance. She won the Oscar for that. I think her which I remember when the Oscars happened, it was like kind of a given, like she'd won it at every other award show,
right? Yeah,
but it being like, but everyone kind of being like, I feel like, and the Oscars would never do this because they're kind of weird about performance capture performances, but I feel like her performance in this is like leaps and bounds better than her performance in Amelia Perez, but you know, it is what it is.
Who was she up against?
I think there were like some pretty decent like
Monica Barbaro in A Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande in Wicked, really Felicity Jones in The Brutalist, and Isabella Rossellini in Conclave. Honestly, not the strongest year.
No,
for supporting.
I do remember Monica Barbaro being like the one that people were like, she could take it because she was really great in that.
Yeah, and then anyway. Kind of a weird year for the Oscars, but
it was a bit of a weird year. There were some people who were like, Ariana Grande's going to win it. Which, by the way, I'm just going to touch on this. I got like blasted on Reddit for saying that I don't think because I think the Golden Globe nominations came out or something, and Wicked for Good is up for Best Picture, and I was kind of like, is that like a carryover legacy nomination? Because the first one was nominated. Because like I don't feel like the second one should be nominated. And then some guy responded being like, let me guess, if it was some sort of unknown indie movie that no one had ever fucking heard of, you'd probably be thinking it's the greatest movie you've ever seen. I was like, no. I was like, I haven't seen a lot of the movies from this list. I just also saw Wicked for Good and thought that it's not, like, best picture worthy. And he was like,
Yeah.
Anyway, just kept arguing, and I just kind of gave up. Sometimes you got to leave those alone. But
Yeah,
a bit
sometimes you
strange.
should just not post on the internet ever, but...
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for listening to this episode on the internet. We appreciate you. You have nothing else to say, right?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. Thanks for listening to this episode. Avatar: The Way of Water, great film. And next week we're going to be
We
covering
both liked it.
Avatar: Fire and Ash, and we'll see where that kind of lands. And I guess in next episode we'll rank all 3 currently released Avatar films.
Yes, we will.
And in order of what we like, and then we'll do a couple wild cards and then jump
Plus
into
the manga.
Thanks, everybody. Follow, rate, subscribe, like, share, favorite, comment. Do all of that.
Send it to Zuckerberg if you know him.
Yeah, send it to Zuckerberg. Also, I guess I should also say, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all that shit if you haven't already. We're
Follow
kind
me
of
on
everywhere, but
Follow me on Napster. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on
Letterboxd. Follow me on. Don't
follow me on
Be Real.
Discogs. Follow me on Goodreads. I
And
wish
follow
list a
me
lot of books
on the street. Okay, let's do a call and response. Just say 3 after I say 1 and 2. That feels like the easiest. 1, 2.
Penis.
Okay. Let's just do it again. Cock, balls.
3.
There you go.